6 years ago, Toyota promised the world a battery that would end the electric car argument forever. 600 miles of range, a full charge in 10 minutes, a cell still holding 90% of its life after 15 years. It was supposed to arrive in 2020. It didn't arrive, so they promised it again for 2023, then 2026. It is now the middle of 2026. There is not a single Toyota anywhere on Earth with that battery inside it. The new date is 2027, maybe 2028. And here is why that should frighten you more than it seems to frighten Toyota. Every argument that this company is playing a smarter game than everybody else. Every explanation for why it stayed out of the electric race while the rest of the world sprinted, all of it rests on that one battery showing up. Take the battery away and there is no long game. There is just the biggest car company on Earth selling hybrids while somebody else builds the future. And on the last day of May, Toyota did something that tells you it already knows. There is also a Toyota on sale right now, today, that quietly admits the whole thing. Almost nobody outside China has seen it. Start with what Toyota is actually betting, because most people describing this company get it wrong in both directions. Toyota is not anti-electric, and the people running it are neither stupid nor asleep. The strategy is specific, and said out loud it sounds reasonable. It goes like this: hybrids print money right now. Every dollar of that money buys time. You spend the time developing a battery so much better than what everyone else is using that when it finally lands, the entire industry's investment turns into scrap overnight. You skip the war you were losing and win the one after it. That is a real plan. Companies have done it before, but there is a word in that sentence doing all the work, and the word is finally. Here is Toyota's solid-state battery, on paper. Roughly 620 miles of range, 10 to 80% charge in about 10 minutes. A cell that Toyota says holds 90% of its capacity after 15 years. Around 450 watt-hours per kilogram, when the best lithium-ion packs on the road today manage 200 to 300. If that exists, it wins. Nobody serious disputes that. The idea itself is simple enough. In a normal lithium-ion cell, the electrolyte, the medium the ions travel through, is a flammable liquid. Solid state swaps it for a ceramic or a sulfide compound. Solid, stable, denser. The problem is that ions move through a solid far less willingly than through a liquid. And solids crack under repeated charging. Toyota has known how to build one in a laboratory for years. Everybody has. Building it 100,000 times a year without defects is a different question entirely. Now here is the same battery, on a calendar. Toyota first said it would be in production cars by 2020. That came and went. The target moved to 2023. That came and went. Then 2026, which is this year, and there is no such car. The official date is now 2027 to 2028, with mass production sometime after that. 4 promises, 3 misses, 6 years. Electrek's assessment was that Toyota has been making empty promises about EV batteries for close to a decade, and it is difficult to read that timeline and argue. Before this turns into a pile-on, though, the program is real. Toyota received Japanese approval to produce solid-state cells in October of 2025. Its partner, the petroleum company Idemitsu Kosan, broke ground on a large-scale solid electrolyte plant at the start of this year. There are engineers in Aichi Prefecture solving genuine problems right now, and dendrite growth inside a ceramic electrolyte is not a marketing problem. It is a physics one. Calling this vapor would be the easier story. It would also be wrong. The program is simply late. Repeatedly, for 6 years, and always by roughly the same amount. But the delays are not the story. 4 missed dates is embarrassing. What Toyota did in November is something else entirely. At the Japan Mobility Show, Keiji Kaita, who runs Toyota's carbon-neutral Advanced Engineering Development Center, told reporters the solid-state program was on schedule. Sticking to the plan, 2027 to 2028. 2 days later, Toyota was reported to be delaying its battery plans again. 2 days. The stated reason was slowing electric vehicle demand. In September of 2025, global EV sales passed 2 million units in a single month for the first time in history. Through the first 9 months of that year, they were up 26%. Companies delay things. That happens everywhere. What should bother you is that the explanation doesn't survive contact with the sales figures, which means the real reason is something Toyota has chosen not to say. And there's a version of this where none of it matters because the battery arrives in 2027 and Toyota wins anyway. So let's give them that. Let's say it lands exactly on time. Toyota's own roadmap puts the first solid-state battery under the Lexus badge. A flagship, a halo car, built in small numbers, priced where flagship Lexus models are priced. There is no version of this that arrives in a Corolla, a RAV4, or a Camry. The cars that actually pay Toyota's bills, the ones sold by the million to people who need a car rather than want one, are a 2030s story at the earliest. So the honest version of the best case is this. Toyota ships an extraordinary battery in a car almost nobody can afford 3 years from now, and then spends most of the following decade working out how to build it cheaply enough to put in the vehicles that matter. That is not a leapfrog. That's a lap, which would be survivable if Toyota were the only one working on this. It isn't. And what happened in China this year should have set off every alarm in Toyota City. In June of 2026, new energy vehicles reached roughly 63% of the Chinese market. That figure is what people bought, not what Beijing hopes they will buy by 2030. And in July, China published its first national standard for solid-state batteries. Read that again, because it is the most underrated fact in this entire story. China wrote the rulebook for the technology Toyota is depending on to save it. That is what a country does when it intends to manufacture something at scale. Standards come before factories. Factories come before dominance. And here is the thing about batteries that Toyota, of all companies, should understand better than anyone alive. They are not one in a laboratory. They are one on a production line. Toyota invented that idea. That's the part that should sting. The Toyota production system is taught in business schools on every continent. Just in time. Continuous improvement. The principle that a car company wins on the factory floor, rather than in the design studio. Toyota didn't just discover that. Toyota is the reason anybody knows it. The country now applying that lesson to batteries, at a scale nobody else can currently touch, is not Japan. No production car anywhere uses a fully solid-state battery today. The closest thing on a real road is a semi-solid pack from NIO in China. Toyota, QuantumScape, and Samsung SDI are all aiming at the same 2027 to 2028 window, and every timeline in this field has a history of moving. So Toyota's advantage in solid state is not that it will get there first. It's that it might get there at the same time as everyone else, in a market where China already sets the rules. Which brings us to the car I mentioned at the start. Toyota builds it, Toyota sells it, and almost nobody in the West has ever looked closely at what is inside it. Toyota sells an electric sedan in China called the BZ3. It costs about $24,500. The battery in it is made by BYD, a lithium iron phosphate blade pack. The motor is made by BYD. The electric control system is made by BYD. Toyota supplies the platform, the body, the quality process, and the badge on the front. The car is developed through a company called BYD Toyota EV Technology, a 50-50 joint venture the two companies set up in 2020, where Toyota engineers and BYD engineers work in the same building. Now hold that next to this. The man running BYD has put a public clock on becoming bigger than Toyota. He gave it 5 years. Toyota is buying its drivetrain from a company that has announced out loud and with a date attached when it intends to bury them. There is a fair defense of this, and it deserves saying. Partnerships are normal. Toyota buys cells from Panasonic and CATL. Tesla uses BYD cells in some European cars. Nobody builds everything themselves anymore. But there is a difference between buying a component and buying the part that decides whether the car is any good. In an electric vehicle, the battery, the motor, and the control electronics are not components. They are the car. Everything else is furniture. Toyota is making the furniture. And underneath that sits a question Toyota has never answered well. If the battery, the motor, and the electronics in a Toyota electric car all belong to BYD, and the car is sold in BYD's home market, alongside BYD's own sedans, at a comparable price, what exactly is the customer buying the Toyota for? In China, the answer has increasingly been nothing. Local brands are taking that market at speed while the foreign joint ventures fall behind. There's a pattern here that runs past batteries too. In September of 2024, Toyota cut its electric vehicle production target for 2026, this year. Not an aspiration in a press release, the number it told its suppliers to build for. So put the pieces on the table. The plan needs a battery that has been late for 6 years and is now promised for a year that has not happened yet. When it arrives in a car priced for a small number of people. And the vehicles Toyota actually lives on don't get it until the 2030s. The country that will build most of the world's batteries is at 63% electric already and has just written the standard for the technology in question. And the competitor with a public 5-year deadline to overtake Toyota is currently supplying Toyota's electric drivetrain. None of that means Toyota is finished. Nobody on the planet has sold more cars in 6 years running, and it pulled that off on hybrids. A bet the rest of the industry spent a decade calling a mistake. Being right about the powertrain everybody dismissed is worth something. But being right about hybrids is what bought the time. It was never the plan. The plan was always the battery. And the step Toyota took on the 31st of May when it canceled the Lexus LFZC rather than order the tooling for it was the step of a company that has looked at its own calendar and decided it cannot yet commit to anything permanent. That is either patience or paralysis. From the outside, on a given Tuesday, the two look identical. The difference is only ever revealed by the date, and Toyota's date has moved 3 times. If it moves a 4th, this stops being a strategy and becomes something else. It becomes the most successful car company in history explaining, year after year, that the thing which was going to save it is still a little further down the road.